Welcome back to the channel, YouTubers. My gosh, we have a nice little bike to try out today. This little beastie is the Suzuki 650 DL650, otherwise known as the V-Strom 650 or the wee Strom. So we're taking this out today, giving it a bit of a crack, mainly because I like small displacement motorcycles, and the more I ride them, the more fun I have on them. So just thought that I'd take you for a ride out on this today. I've got a mate in my rear view mirror there, as you can see, and he's out on the KTM 1290 2019. Now he's looking at buying the 2022, but as it is at this current point in time, the 2022, there are no bikes available to test ride. Same with this little girl. This is a 2019. I can't get a brand new one to test ride, and here in New Zealand, for some reason, these things just weren't popular, so they just don't bring them in anymore. So it was really exciting to be able to get one of these and take it for a ride. So at any rate, we're going to do our usual circuit. We're going to do some on-road, some off-road, and I'm going to give you my my initial thoughts and impressions on what I think of this little bike. And I can tell you right now already, it's a little gem. I'm absolutely loving this little thing. It's light, it's nimble. Compared to my V-Strom 650, this weighs nothing. It feels like a dirt bike. It's just got a 17-inch front and 25.5 horsepower. And compared to my other 250, which is a Hyosung GV250, and it's 28.3 horsepower, so far I haven't really noticed the difference. I think the torque is exactly the same on both bikes, so I haven't really noticed the difference in power between the two bikes at this stage. So I think it's 22 Newton meters of torque for both bikes, this, I just feel so confident on this little bike already, where I find on the 650 there's just that little bit of caution there, because it is a big heavy bike and you definitely feel it, especially when you're tipping into the corners. This little thing here, I don't even feel the fuel in the tank. It's just absolutely the lightest, most nimble little thing on the planet. I think it's from memory, it's a 17 litre fuel tank. I could be wrong on that one, and I'll correct myself in the post edit if I am wrong. Little LCD dash, perhaps a little bit behind the times. It seems to be Suzuki's theme at the moment. I don't know, maybe they're going for a early 2000s retro look, not sure, but it's got ABS, it's not switchable, and that's about it. The bike is pretty simple, but it's fun, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for fun, easy to ride, and we're just doing a little bit of passing here, because the speed limit here is 80 and people seem to be doing 60. Something banging against me. What's going on here? Oh, it's my helmet. Forgot to tie my helmet up, guys. That's no good. Next stop. So at any rate, stick around. We're going to take this thing off-road. Okay, guys. You're coming to me, I'm coming to you through my new helmet, actually, which is the LS2 the LS2 Pioneer, which I've actually found to be a brilliant helmet so far. I'll just make sure I'm still recording. Sorry, I'll just get around this corner and then make sure you can see. I'm just trying to see if I can, if you are seeing. Yep, cool. All right, so we're just going to head off down the road here. Obviously we need to do a few little checks and measures on the bike. this is such a nimble little bike. It's reminiscent of the KTM 390 Adventure, but a bit less buzzy, probably because it's a little parallel twin. There's a little bit of a high frequency buzz through the handlebars and through the seat. I've got nothing through the pegs, but my gosh, it just corners like nothing else on the planet. It's really good. So let's just see what we can do here. 120, 27, 28, 29, 30. Well, that's it. 31. That's about it. We're whoa. So it'll do 130 k an hour, no problems. And it gets up to 100 just nicely. So cornering is fantastic. It feels quite sporty actually. Your legs are tucked up a little bit more than I would like on this bike. Yeah, that's probably, for me, it's a personal thing because I have bad knees. I don't like to be tucked up too much. I think probably the important thing to remember as well is even though it said 130, it's an indicated speed. It's not the actual speed. If it's anything like my Suzuki, it'll be about 30 k an hour, about 10 k an hour off. So you're probably doing 120. They tout 130 as being top speed on this. But it handles very, very nicely. Probably better than I'm able to handle it, to be fair. Whoa, there's a little bit of slippery stuff there on that bit of road. So of course we're going to do the usual track. We're going to come down here, then we'll head off road. My mate's still behind me. We actually just met a few minutes ago, and he's from Auckland. Hasn't spent any time here. He's been stuck in Auckland his entire time in New Zealand. He comes from Brazil, and so as a result, I thought I'd just take him out for a bit of a buzz around our favourite little area. Man, I'll tell you what, we've got a few midges around at the moment, just splattering my helmet. But at any rate, I'll click you back on again once we hit the gravel. It's not too far away, and I'll let you know how we get on there. It is on road tyres, it's not on adventure tyres or anything even closely resembling adventure tyres. So to be honest with you, it sticks like the proverbial to a blanket with these tyres on, even though they're half worn. So we'll see how we get on off-road. So far I'm not having any trouble going up and down hills. We're going up a hill right now. It's got more than enough power. It handles really nicely. It doesn't handle anything like the other V-Stroms. It just is so much more nimble and so much lighter. Anyway, we're actually almost at the gravel now. So let's have a go at this. That's an adventure bike. It's only got a 17-inch front, so it's a very light adventure bike. We won't want to do anything too serious on it. And it's on road tyres, so I'm a little bit nervous about getting into the rough stuff with road tyres. That made the old sphincter pucker a little bit. But the road's actually mostly clay at the moment and it's dry, so that's a cool thing. Okay, we're into second to be able to get up here. definitely feel those bumps. That rebound is definitely not quite where I would like it, where the bigger version just kind of soaks it up. This one's kind of complaining about it, although I do feel more confident in taking it a bit quicker through this section. I'm still sitting down on the bike at the moment. I don't know, let's see. So standing up on the bike is actually, the ergonomics are okay, except they've got something digging into my leg. It's one of the, it's a bit of fairing that's digging into my leg. It's okay so long as you're leaning forward or leaning back. There's just a little bit of the guard that seems to rub against your calf. I do have big legs, not bragging, it's actually an annoyance. But yeah, this is, I would actually say the motor characteristics on this for off-road are probably better than the KTM 390 Adventure. Just because the throttle's a lot less snatchy, and it's just a bit more gradual, feels a little bit more sorted out. We talk about how confidence inspiring a motorbike is. This bike is pretty good, and the KTM 1290 is keeping up okay. That's the main thing. But yeah, this is a good little bike to stand up on. Now I'm just under 6 feet tall, and I'm standing on this okay. I think if you were 5'10", this would be absolutely perfect. This is a little bit short for me. I'd probably get some bar risers, but that would be it. Now I'm also around 90 kgs, give or take. So as somebody who's, you know, a relatively solid bloke, this bike seems to be handling me just fine. I don't like where the rear brake actually is. You've got to tilt your foot down a little bit too far, but that's a preference thing and can be altered on this bike as well. So but yeah, these ruts and corrugations in the road, you definitely feel them. It's not too bad, and it's got lots of power. Like, I'm only in second gear, doing 40 odd, anything up to 40 odd k an hour, 40, 50 k an hour. On this in second gear, and it's handling it fine. Had the back end come out a couple of times on it, which wasn't, it didn't feel risky. It was a nice fun little slide. And so now we're of course at our walk around spot, and it looks like they're doing something here. Alright, so let's have a bit of a walk around on this girl. There's the 1290 up on me. So ignore the learner plate, I'm not a learner. So as you can see, it's 2019, but in really, really good condition. It's available from Boyd's Motorcycles at the moment. It really does ride very, very well. It handled that off-road stuff fairly well. We'll see how we go going downhill and see how the ABS actually works on it. But like I say, it's a little 250cc parallel twin. It's air-cooled. It's putting out 22 newton meters of torque and 25.5 horsepower. It's front and rear disc brake. There's no name on the disc brake, but it does work very well. I'm not having any issues whatsoever. The controls on the bike are very good. I find that the handlebars are perhaps a little bit skinny for my hands, but it's only a preference thing. And I would want to go and put some crash guards around my hands because I've had some issues in the past with that. Visibility in the rear view mirrors is very, very good. Front headlight, I haven't had a chance to test that at night. Actually, I lied, that's liquid cooled, or oil air cooled. Oil air cooled, there you go. Now this one's already been set up with givey bars on it and crash protection and bash plates, so this bike's pretty well good to go for the adventure section. And it's second hand, going for $6,000, just under $6,000 New Zealand. So fairly cool bike, really. And so far having a lot of fun on it. And yeah, we'll carry on with the rest of the ride, and I'll give you my thoughts as we head up through the twisties. Okay, we're back on the road, peeps. Just had a talk to a farmer who said that he's going to let me come shoot. It's a little bit awesome. Okay, so we'll have to take you out on that adventure too. Alright, so we're back on the road. Yep, okay, so that ABS is definitely kicking in, coming down this hill. This is always, if you haven't seen my channel before, this is always where I test the bike's ABS and see how intrusive it is. It's actually not bad. Like I could get a back wheel out if I wanted to, I think. Yeah, definitely. Woo! How awesome is that? This farmer was just telling me that he's got a lot of problems with poachers getting into the farm animals, not just the wild animals, but actually getting into the farm animals and shooting his. He's got 580 in the paddock at the moment, 580 sheep in the paddock at the moment, and he reckons that there'll be 560 by the time he comes back up here again, which is a crying shame. Very, very upsetting, actually. That's somebody's income that you're taking. But meanwhile, getting back to motorcycles, this is fantastic. I'm loving it. It doesn't have too much fork dive, which we thought it was going to have when we first got it. The fork dive is actually pretty reasonable. The rear brake works really well, it's just in the wrong spot. This needs to be moved a little bit. ABS isn't too intrusive. Probably enough to get you out of trouble, but not enough to, well, enough to get you out of trouble on the road, but not enough to sort of really cause any issues. Yeah, that back wheel's locking up, no problems. This is great. So light, so nimble. Yeah. So she's topping out at 130 kilometers an hour. She's okay off-road, actually, like, you know, as good as the big boys, really, off-road. So I'm finding. She's good on the hills. She's got just enough to do everything. Just enough to do everything, which is cool. because it's not that it's not quite enough to do everything. She's doing everything that she should be doing. I'm really pretty impressed with her. Really in the wrong jacket for this, and I've got a big leather jacket on at the moment, and it's getting a bit warm. Yeah, this thing's going good. 60k an hour on the dirt, no worries. So this is always a tricky corner, this one. The back end normally goes on me. No, she handled that just nice. Woo! So good. If all you're going to be doing is dirt, well, sorry, gravel roads, maybe a few dirt roads, and some maybe some twin track, nothing too severe, this bike will be absolutely fine. And we're back on the road. This little front windshield's definitely taking the pressure off my chest. Getting good clean air on my helmet. Does make it a little bit noisy. Just coming out of that corner, I was in 5th gear. A little bit sluggish, but she's a 250, you can't expect too much. Just not quite seeing the KTM sitting. Oh, yep, there he is. All right. Just wanted to make sure he hadn't slid off somewhere. Gosh, it just handles so nicely in those corners, just like a little sport bike. You're going to have to work the gears a little bit more on this than you would on a bigger bike. I don't actually mind that. Part of the fun of having a motorcycle, I think, is to be able to work your way through the gears. But it just corners so good. Such a great little bike. Bit buzzy when you get up around about 90 kilometers an hour. It just starts to get a little bit buzzy. I think it's about 55 mile an hour. Oh yeah, you definitely got to be on it with the gears. A corner beyond my capabilities anyway. baby. So that concludes the dirt portion. We're going to do a twisty section, and then we'll take it back to Boyd's. And my gosh, what an awesome sight. Enjoying myself so much I've missed the light. Alright. So we'll catch up to you guys when we get back to the twisties. Okay everybody, this is the new twisty section. Just again, make sure that you are actually recording. Let's have a look. Not sure if I pushed the button and I can't see you. Oh yep, there we go. Alright, so this is the new twisty section. I'll tell you what, this little thing, once it gets to 100 kilometers an hour, that buzzing seems to disappear. And yeah, once we get to that 100 kilometers an hour, the buzzing is either just at such a low frequency that you, or such a high frequency that you don't feel it, or it just disappears. I'm not sure which. But it's not really super annoying anyway, and it's only when you get around 90k an hour. Going up a hill on a corner. Beautiful. Ah, she's a good bike. She's going to handle roads like this all day long, guys. Back up around 100 again, in 6th gear. It's more composed than the KTM 390 Adventure. It's more planted. It's got roughly the same top speed, a little bit less torque, a little bit less horsepower. But for all intents and purposes, this bike is okay. I mean, it's not a rocket ship, but even me, after 2-3 years of riding, this is a great little bike to ride. The only thing I have to say is that I'm probably a little bit cramped up for my liking, but it's not something that I wouldn't get used to. It's just that I got a bad knee. So, in conclusion, if you're looking for a lightweight bike, something which is definitely not going to cost you a fortune to run, something which handles well around corners, is composed, is a good price, reliable, it's Suzuki, it's going to do a thing. This is definitely a bike to consider, guys. Seriously, if I didn't already have 2 bikes in the garage, this would be a serious consideration for me. I'd say the back end of the bike probably needs a bit of dampening, preload adjustment on it. For my taste, it's a little bit bouncy in the back. You might have seen me run wide in part of the video, but and that was just the back end sort of bouncing around a little bit. But it's okay once I was like, oh okay, there's the limit, there's the limit. You just obey the limit. So at any rate, that's this little 250cc V-Strom in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Hey look, please feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. I have very few subscribers at the moment, and if you like the content, it just encourages me to continue to make more content. If you've got any questions, let me know. I'll reply for about the first month, because I'm not getting, you know, tens of thousands, maybe a few thousand people at the moment looking at my videos. So if you have any questions or queries, let me know. Any suggestions of what bike you'd like me to test ride next, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to oblige. In the meantime, take care and God bless.